And here we go. Apologies for the longer break. We had to wait for the top side matchup to conclude, but it's all done. And we're looking to get the semifinals underway. It was Renegades to take the series 2-1 over Radiant. So we say bye to a previous winner. We can take a peek at the bracket to see how we've got to our matchup in Renegades versus Luminosity. The bracket, I mean, some pretty close games kind of across the board, Wes.
Yeah, both of these matchups that went into this semifinal went 2-1, and we just saw Luminosity versus Knights. Great series, honestly. It was just kind of Knights running out of steam on the last map there. Renegades taking down Radiance, who are currently, in that second place in the leaderboards for the champs tournament. So that's definitely a big statement by Renegades. They are a very well established team, coming back into this, trying to start the new year off right, and taking down Radiance is a great start. Can they take down Luminosity? Will Luminosity have basically, warmed up enough and got their feet under them, got their ship righted enough to just continue steamrolling through this tournament, though?
Yeah, 100%. We talked about Luminosity, who kind of have a couple more screws to tighten. And this is Renegade's stomping ground. The Nerd Street, Summer Champs, Winter Champs, whatever it may be, Renegades has always been a part. Now, before we get into our feature matchup, I want to talk to you guys and quite possibly see your matchup. Guys, please do not forget this weekend, January 8th and 9th, we've got that regional LAN for Winter Champs, so you guys can earn some extra points. There's also $10,000 prize pool, so it's this prize pool times 4. That's a lot of money, and registration ends Thursday, guys. You do not want to miss it. We want to see you guys on LAN. We want to see you guys pop off, so hopefully you do give us that. Now, as much as we want to see you play, we've been waiting just about 20 minutes to see these two teams play. Again, we've got Luminosity taking on Renegades, and as we said, Renegades, I mean, just very familiar with where they've been, where they've come from, and where they've been, kind of leading the leaderboards all throughout Summer Champs. Now, we were talking about it before we went live here, Wes, a couple of new additions, Lynn and Apoth, right, coming over from Virtuoso, and it seems like they're starting to really slot into this Renegades roster.
Yeah, Lynn and Apoth are definitely great additions. I actually cast them in that all-Canadian tournament that happened earlier, right at the end of the year. It was so super fun to see Renegades come in. They did go out kind of early in that tournament, though. Unfortunately, they couldn't really get it together. But I will say Lynn absolutely popped off. The other person to watch is Retro on that Sova. Retro in that tournament, and from what I've seen from Renegades, Retro's Sova damage, ability damage per round, is off the charts. So keep an eye on those shock darts and those Hunter's Furies. Retro is coming to play with the Sova.
I love that, because Dazzle, no slouch, right? We saw him in 3 games, was coming up huge with shock darts, recon bolts, the Hunter Shuri being the big one, right? We renamed it that new Ultimate True Shot Barrage, because he just, if it wasn't a kill, he was finding damage. He was getting something done. So I'm glad that you highlighted that matchup more specifically. Now, we know the players. We know we're in the semifinals. What we don't have just yet, or what we don't know just yet, but we do have, are the maps that we are headed to, and a little bit of comfortability maybe for LG. Is Icebox going to be that first map? LG obviously picking that one. Then we're headed to Haven, one of my favorite maps to watch, and then Bind should we need it, which is not where you want to be if you're Renegades after watching what LG just did to Knights on that one. Well,
not to mention Icebox, right? LG just showed, I said grit before, they just dug deep. They got into the reserves of energy and of, compatibility there for that second map in the series up against the Knights. And yeah, LG is just, if anything, going to look even more dangerous on Icebox now that they've got one under their belt today. Just keep that going, right? This is a lot of Valorant to play. So the other thing you'd have to start worrying about for these teams is stamina, of course, right? You've got to start worrying about mental fortitude. Can these teams go the distance here? And with these 3 maps, it's definitely going to be a slugfest, especially, Luminosity are great on Icebox. Obviously, we saw them do incredible things, but they went 10-13 on it. It was a close map. It was a long map. And it was kind of a long series. They dusted off Bind, but they had to expend a lot of energy for those other 2 maps, Tanner. So whether Renegades had to do the same against Radiance remains to be seen, and who can keep that energy going.
Yeah, I think both map 3s, if I was hearing correctly from our admins, went just about the same way, where Renegades really came out ahead of Radiance, so really put a stamp on that map 3. We saw that same thing with LG over Knights, kind of putting a stamp on that one. It seemed like Knights had a little bit of life. Unfortunately, it was stripped away in a pretty incredible thrifty round win for LG. But you brought up the steam, right? You brought up how much in the tank they have, because these are really long days. And the team that's, I guess, most versed in these long days is Renegades. They've been playing in these since the beginning, so they know they've got their bedtime routine on Sunday and Monday to be able to wake up and play all the way throughout Tuesday, whereas LG, they might not have that. We haven't seen them since LCQ. Sure, they had a long day yesterday. Now looking to have another long day here. I do think that we might see some of that wear and tear, some of that fatigue come into play here.
Yeah, I like the implications of this matchup too, because these are 2 organizations that are legacy in esports in general, and these organizations have been around shooters a long time. The likes of Luminosity and Renegades are, these are matchups we've seen all over the place, and they are representing big organizations, big fan bases. People are really, really tuning in to check out who's going to come out on top between these 2 teams. The 2 of them being near the same level right now and coming into the same part of the tournament, there's definitely some setup here for some maybe a budding rivalry of some kind, or we'll see how the game goes. We do see the agent select on screen, and again the TIG. We talked about Chamber on Icebox. TIG is going on to that, making use of all the things Chamber can bring to a team comp, in lieu of having to add all sorts of extra utility to your comp. So you got 2 duelists, you got Chamber, and you got Viper and Sova. It's definitely going to be, once again, it's LG coming in and trying to look for those frags.
Yeah, and so we talked about it the last time we saw the Chamber too, right? Where Icebox kind of solved. I think it's been fairly stale. Yeah, I love that the first time that we get Luminosity in one of these, they're completely flipping the script. They're giving us fun Icebox again because of what the Chamber brings to the table. And I also love that I haven't been watching Icebox matches too, specifically, especially into the new year, because there hasn't been too many. And so this is our second look at the Sentinels in Chamber against the Killjoy. Is TIG still going to be that thorn in the side, or still be that, I'm putting it in air quotes, you guys can't see, but that counter to the Killjoy and that counter to the lockdown because of what he's able to do with that rendezvous? He's able to plant his feet, catch this Renegade squad before if they push in before that lockdown expires, find a kill and get out immediately before being detained. Like, that is absolutely huge. We saw that in the first time we caught a matchup or TIG on Chamber. I'm wondering if we get that same exact thing as we're all locked in. It's basically as you would expect it. We say goodbye to Sage for now. We say hello to the Sentinels. We've already been talking about that matchup, but I think another one that we have to pay attention to, right? We already talked about our Sovas, but your duelist flex, Wes, that you bring into this one, it's either the Reyna or the Raze. This time around, it's Reyna for both teams, Retro and Mata bringing it to the table.
Yeah, Reyna's pretty common on Icebox as well, sort of for similar reasons to Chamber. Add firepower, right? Reyna is all about frags, all about getting in there, getting kills, getting resets, this type of stuff. And it's actually going to be Retro. It's Roy switching over to the Sova, which is common on Icebox for Renegades, which is what they do. Retro plays Sova on most maps, but it's Reyna here. So what can he do with those, on that duelist? Right now, it's LG just sort of playing a pretty loose, pretty easy default here, but TIG getting a little aggressive.
Yeah, recalls the rendezvous there. We'll have just about 20 seconds before you can look to set those down and get teleporting once more. And Roy, we all saw that clip on Twitter, that Sova clip. It was a nice one. In a nice little 1v3, I believe, on this map to clutch it out. Roy, the strongest of legs, also usually only playing that Sky, so it's nice to see Renegades getting out of their shell a little bit. And speaking of, get to hop on board. We see how strong these legs are as it goes over the top of Boiler, but Tig is there. What a flick and what a shot. Finds the first, and LG, they pick up right where they left off. They had a bit of freeze time. Wes, 20 minutes between games, and they come in fire hot here on the pistol.
Sharp as ever, as if they never took the break. So good from Luminosity. And yeah, these A hits, they're taking a little bit of a page out of Knight's book here with that push up mid. They do manage to get some really, really nice stuff, especially Tig, like you say, that headhunter coming in very, very clutch there. And yeah, you know, it was a nice idea from Roy. He got a lot of info there. Even dying, he got some value out of his position and for his team. But Mata is flying out of those angles. Mata, who has been making space, who's been playing sort of the jester roles, like I said, maybe not top fragging, but making so much space, this time opens up into the site.
And something a little uncharacteristic of our last series, a full save from Renegades.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't think we saw a single one, Tanner.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. A little bit more reserved, perhaps, and they are sort of making their way into a little bit more aggressive positions. You can see them already up A, leaving B completely alone, and that is where LG have decided to go. They're going to be just fine getting a spike plant here as moves to watch the lurk.
Okay. Retro picks up one with the classic. It's all about damage. Damage, the name of the game, and they found a bit, unfortunately. Retro takes
This is not
much
bad.
damage to be able to stand, and yeah, Apoth finding another spike planted. This is LG's round, sure, but the bonus is going to be super weak unless they're really forced to buy into it, and then the economy gets wonky as Tig working towards that tour de force. Daz will find the next, and Apoth,
Tig is
that
low.
weapon in hand. Yeah, very healthy. A 1v2, running out of time, so has to find this kill. Unfortunately, will not, but heaps of damage done for Renegades. That right there, I think you're walking away that one a happy team.
Totally fine with it, exactly. Yeah, and that was really close too, because if Apoth got that kill, Tig was like 20 HP. Like, it was definitely the advantage going back over to Renegades if that happened. But takes care of him, so 2-0 for Luminosity, and they didn't get the greatest of. They weren't able to get a super great streak going on Icebox before. Now this is the time to sort of redeem themselves a little bit, Luminosity, to really show this is our map pick, this is our comfort zone, and this is where we're going to dust you off. We're going to make a statement at the beginning of this series and put the ball in our court, basically. Set the tone for what's going to happen in the rest of this best of 3.
I love that. So you saw that double bounce shock dart trying to clear out that Killjoy utility that might be inside kitchen, but it just missed. The placement was perfectly out of range of the shock dart. So they might think that they can creep up for free. It doesn't seem like mid is going to be the play for now as that spike has crept up B long. Tig going to be first contact or his squad and use that rendezvous to get out of dodge should he need it. Meanwhile, Moose expecting an aggressive push, and, well, he's expecting correctly. Lynn is just around the corner.
Same spot as last round for Moose here. But the timing, there we go. Headshot goes in. Nice job there for Moose to find the stabilize. Takes out the opposing duelist. And now that's going to signal them to head back towards A, with Tig finding another one. 5 versus 3 on this hit. They're going to back off once again because Tig is way, way stuck in. He knows there's nobody on B.
Yeah, and it's so difficult, just this back and forth, the way that LG are pulling them. Head back to A. Well,
left.
are they heading back to A? Because
Yeah.
they've got a guy over on B, and they just got a kill there, so maybe they're still B. The rotation does come through, and Randy Savage is able to find one kill, but it's only one on the round, not before being answered by Moose. Ooh, it's Retro. Crispy one tap there. The Vandal doing heaps of damage. Unfortunately, has 3 players to worry about and is running out of time with that spike being planted. You don't have a whole lot to play with. You don't really have to worry about the teleports anymore, fortunately, because Tig is dead. Mata is dead as well, but Dazzle plays it perfectly, swings off the contact, and secures the 3rd round. And Renegades, they're going to be hanging out till round 5 till they buy again.
Moose top fragged on Icebox in the last series and is continuing to be a menace. It's once again, this is exactly the same. Look at this, Tanner. It's the same. Even after just 3 rounds, they're sort of stacking up the same as they did before. The duelists really just kind of getting that info, getting forward positions, and finding map control where it's Moose and Tig to really be the ones to finish off a lot of the kills. And it's a lot of lurking, right? Tig is lurking over on B. Then when they rotate, Moose becomes the lurker, staying on A, and he's gotten a couple of kills from that same position right now. Renegades need to find the answer.
This might not be the round, but again, damage the name of the game when you've got the pistols or something of the like. Owl Drone gonna spot out Roy. Well, the crouches, make sure that control key is still working. And APOC finds one on the flank. Okay, Moose taken down early. Dazzler now looking to go pick up the scraps. As you hear that rendezvous, Tig has also made his way to try and secure it. I absolutely love this coming out from Renegades. A round is a round no matter how you get it, and they're using everything in their arsenal to try and do just that. As one player detained, maybe just for bait, as the rendezvous, excuse me, the tour de force online, and Tig secures one, now looking for more as the head glitches there from Roy, and he's just toying with the chamber. Shot start over the top, and there's just no time, there's just no space. A whole lot used from Renegades, and I mean, they really just went full send. Unfortunately, they lose the round.
Oh man, Roy was playing with fire. He is just he's getting cocky there, and I like it. It is, of course, Luminosity continuing that win streak, but yeah, Renegades, I don't mind the Hail Mary there. I don't mind, you know, throwing everything, pouring all the resources into that round just to maybe kind of stop the momentum a little bit. Unfortunately, it does not pay off at all. They still do manage to get a buy coming in here, and they still have, of course, the Viper's Pit available, and that's available over on Luminosity Gaming as well. So we'll see how those Vipers come into play this round. There we go.
Oh, man. I mean, you almost called it perfectly. If Moose was able to get something there, that would have been huge. But Mata creeps up and takes the barrel to the face. Lynn going to send a round right behind it. And it's the operator to find the frag, and it's Renegades.
Takes
player ahead now.
Oh, does he check?
Does he?
Oh, no.
Yes, he does. And the trigger discipline. Okay. Please. Tig, you gotta just let it happen. You gotta let it happen before Retro finally decides to make a move. He just continues
will
to
turn.
clear out the sight, and there it is. Retro, I mean, eyes bleeding on the angle. Did not want to give that one up, and unfortunately pays the price. Now the new Icebox, you can't shoot through that box any longer, so Dazzle free for the plant, and here we go, 3v3. It's Renegades. Again, last hope here. You lose here, you're back on that reset.
Tig almost got more, too. That trigger discipline almost paid off in spades. You know, just the timing, just off not to take out Lynn. But still, Lynn is in a very, very tough spot here. Up close and personal with the operator. Dazzle here with the Sova. Actually, that's nice push from Roy, but it's only...
One enemy remaining.
Only B-Dog. We say only B-Dog, but he's doing only just enough here. Low HP on Lynn, and you said up close and personal. It doesn't get more up close than this as B-Dog closes out the round. A 3K clutch.
And the time was on his side, so that's what he did. Used it to his advantage. Was able to peek out. Here's an early timeout coming, and yeah, Renegades do need it. They are very, very much on the back foot here, Tanner, because Luminosity Gaming, they are... We were talking about this before. Their comfort zone on this map, they're really showing it to us now. They feel very comfortable. They're in that scary position you see teams get into where they are peaking and they know they are going to hit that shot. They know they are going to win that aim duel, and that is so, so terrifying to play against.
I like this. Warbird's calling that timeout, trying to slow things down, figure out what's going wrong, because that was really... Usually we see right around round 5 is where teams start to make their comeback because they get that next full buy.
Yep.
They have a good understanding of what the opposition is looking to do. Well, in round 5 here for Renegades, they didn't quite have LG figured out, and a couple of kills slip away from them. And, well, now you see that scoreline 5-0. So a good timeout on a save round, unless they decide to force into this one. I know they got that full loss bonus, but at the end of the day, they get to gather their thoughts once more and try and figure out how they can crack this code.
How they can stop this attack, right? Because we've seen a couple different options on Icebox. We've seen the very, very much retake-focused style. LG was playing a little of that, but we've also seen a little more aggression coming in from these teams as well in terms of, in particular, A site, giving it up and playing 5-person retake. But in this situation, they're actually more playing retake on B, our RNG. And this slow default from Luminosity Gaming is working out in a lot of cases. There's Lynn going for a big hyphy play and unseats Mata.
It pays off. Unfortunately, Retro also able to sneak away. So a couple of dubs at the start of this round for Renegades. They're not out of the woodworks just yet. They have a very stout and full bought out LG still standing in front of them. 4 members still remain, and that spike slowly starting to creep on up. Knives just around the corner. Dazzle's done it before. Can he do it again? No, he cannot. It's Lin for a second. Now LG maybe shaking in their boots a bit as it's B-Dog with the spike and the operator. This is maybe not the person you want that spike to be in hand.
Not exactly, but they don't have the map control to get it down anyway. Lin has been deadly so far, and this is what you need to look for over on the side of Renegades. Lin, a relatively new addition to the team, and they've added him as, you know, the main jet player, the opper, the fragger. He needs to put in work.
Oof. They keep doing it. The force fourth on the round, doesn't need it. It's Retro to close it out. It's a thrifty round, and it's the timeout, most importantly there, Wes, that pays off. And it gives the Renegades just enough time. They've cracked it. They've cracked that code. It's going to be unfortunate, though, if this is one of those situations, and I'm jinxing it right now as it's leaving my lips.
I'm bracing myself. I'm bracing myself for this.
You're already in too deep. Sometimes teams can only win thrifties, and I'm hoping that's not one of these times.
It didn't even feel like a thrifty, to be honest. It was just Lin all day long, and definitely not having to break the bank for those knives. Now does manage to pick up the operator because of those kills found. There's the bounce coming in. Lin to block it off. Full A hit here. Death ball coming in.
Oh, and close to death was Tig. Mata pops the Empress pushes onto the site, but immediately taken down. Randy Savage is able to find one as well in the full rotation. Now coming on through as the Viper's pit cuts off the sight lines, and Moose holds the high ground. It's LG down a player, and Renegades trying to find their way into the site. I thought Moose maybe saw one. It seems like the kills are escaping as Roy goes across the ropes. Moose is able to take him down, and now Renegades starting to get cut down piece by piece as Dazzle will find the next. Apoth pushes into the pit. I think the operator might just back away. The high ground is just so strong. That's what we learned in Star Wars, and it's Moose to leap off for the Batman frag. It's LG. They're right back to it. They say, you know what, Renegades, you didn't figure us out. We're just going to win this next round, and that's exactly what they do.
Puts him back into the lava, and Lin did such a nice job on attempting to defend that. I was talking about this before with the way Jets can play the A side on Icebox. Really just moving all over the place, so versatile, but in this case, just wasn't enough. The rest of his team, did not properly react to this Viper's pit going down, and just some great finds there over by... on the side of Moose. Moose is so good at Viper on this map. We've already seen it in this, today on stream. We've seen what Moose can do on this map. It's just going to get worse and worse.
That's a rough start, though. That's a rough start for LG. Already got a few members low in HP skirmishing out towards A. Lin won't land the next shot. I mean, doesn't need much. It could be through 10 walls, and Tig would die. Fortunately, it's through none of the walls, and a body shot to land to take down the chamber. It's tough. You tag up the Reyna, and you cannot, at this point, let Mata get anything, or else that Reyna will be full health and overhealed as Dazzle forced to back away. Here comes the Hunter's Fury, trying to slow down and delay the plant. There's so much time on the clock. It's only going to allow for rotation to buy a bit more. For once that spike does get planted, and Randy Savage plants his feet and goes to war. Now Mata the last one standing, and if you remember, it was foreshadowing. 47 HP at the start of the round. Maybe something crazy happens. The kill is there. The overheal as well. Now needs to find 3 more.
Reveals the position, of course. They pretty much knew how to get back in. Spike is just unreachable right now unless Mata gets something ridiculous here. Nope. Not likely, as Randy Savage going to be just fine to pick that up. And RNG react very nicely to, it's beyond a default plant spot on B Icebox. It is the only plant spot, pretty much, unless if you get a very unusual round. And so you've got to react it in different ways to the way teams are going to hit that spot, try to walk in and get that plant. This time it was Killjoy utility, and Renegades do a very nice job kind of following up on that. Hunter's Fury as well was used in that round to kind of dissuade them, buy more time for the rotations to come in. Renegades do a nice job of defending the site here.
And they've got some of those tools back online for the retake potential and a bit more firepower behind it. The last time we saw the lockdown, it was sticks and stones. And, well, Lin making sure that the lockdown isn't needed. Finds the first frag on the round as Mata gets tagged up. Everybody from Renegades knows that LG is looking to hit this A site.
Lin has got to be a zoomer. I don't peek like that. I don't flick like that.
They're built diff. I think that's you have to have. If your jet has to be a zoomer because their aim it gets a +3 buff or something of the sort. It doesn't really make sense. While all this is happening though, the spike is planted. Tig crept all the way up into Nest, is able to get back to that rendezvous and get out of dodge. And once more we see LG playing that post plant. And I love this that they're having Tig kind of be that planter because he can get out and play so far off the site. That's exactly where they want to be. As Mata, the only one playing aggressive for now, picks up Roy's to try to push on through. Lockdown could be made quick work of. No, instead, Dazzle just continues to headhunt with that Hunter's Fury as we continue to go back and forth. The attackers pushed off to the side. Mata gonna be taken down, detained, I think, for the bait, but nobody was there to answer back. Now Tig has to do it as they're on the spike. The shot will land. No way.
What?
Tig does it again. Clutch with 4.
You have got to be kidding me, Tig. The tour de force indeed. Unreal from Chamber, man. Tig just pulls one out of nowhere. That is sensational from Tig at the end of the round to keep LG rolling. And if RNG's mental wasn't broken before, Tanner, look at this.
Who will I spot first?
That dropped me to my knees.
We talked.
After Tig did that.
My jaw is wide open right now, but they still got to keep playing. We still got to keep casting. We can't dwell on it too long, although you know that's finding its way into a highlight reel soon. Unreal from Tig, and there you go, man. Chamber, if you ever want an argument for why to play it on this map, it's not nuanced, but that's an argument if I've ever seen one.
Man, well, as we jump into this round, just under a minute left. Oh, they know exactly where Retro's at. He thinks he's being sneaky, but his barrel's been spotted, and Mata just going to hold this angle. Doesn't want to spray through the wall just yet. Doesn't want to give away his position, so instead, Tig will do so, force Retro into a bad spot, and there's the secure on the kill. But here comes Lin. He's been good with the operator before. Can he do it again as Tig goes up and over the top? Once more, we're seeing it. Looking to get that spike down. Use that rendezvous. No way! The near sight. And Lin is still able to find the kill through it. Now the spike down in a precarious position. As Randy Savage low HP. It only takes a couple of shoulder shots to sit him down. And well, the rest of the bodies are starting to fall. Apoth has big shoes to fill here in this one. As Mata looks to get that spike planted in that same position. And closes out the round. But that was scary for just a sec.
What is this game, man? People are absolutely on one. And Lin needs some help, dude. Apoth came in and tried to help out at the end, but Lin is doing so much on that A site, and the support just isn't there. The follow-up isn't quite there. That was gorgeous from Lin to find that kill with the near site. The exact same plant as a couple rounds ago. The upstairs plant, they know where the player's going to be. Lin's directly on it. He goes out aggressive and catches them by surprise, but you've got to play off that. You need to have some follow-up from the rest of those A defenders.
And things are looking grim here on Icebox for the defenders, and it just gets that much worse as B-Dog takes a bite out of Apoth. Randy Savage able to trade one back to the Sheriffs. Have been doing a good bit of damage. Now they're wary of one, I believe, out towards mid as well. The trademark was destroyed, but this is another situation where Renegades, well, we've seen them pick up a thrifty round, but so much momentum for Luminosity. Lin, again, has the largest shoes to fill with the blades online, and he's not really in a position to do so. We go back and forth just a bit. The health bar is getting low on the side of Renegades. Empress available, but I don't think there's a weapon in hand, and here we go. Here's the flank. B-Dog, no way, the knives, they all go wide. The classic won't come out in time. Yes, it will, and we find ourselves in a 1v1, but again, the weaponry, it's not great. It's just a Sheriff, so Retro has no use here for that Empress, but might just have enough time. We'll find the
He's
kill.
got it.
Down to the
He's got
wire, and Renegades have done it.
Wow, that is unreal. This game is just making our hearts beat so fast right now. Every single round, there's something unbelievable to watch, and yeah, this is... the rounds aren't very close, but man, This feels close right now. The eye test tells me these two teams are so evenly matched and pulling out all the stops in this semifinal. Our observer, we're trying to get a replay. It's like, okay, which do I show? Do I show the ridiculous kill by Lin? Do I show the weird, really weird miss? Do I show the last second defuse? Unbelievable stuff.
Wow.
Viper's quick to dissuade on A. Maybe slow things down a little bit. Give everybody a breather. Give us a breather, Tanner.
It doesn't seem to slow anything
Nope.
down. It doesn't seem to slow anything down. They just completely disrespect it. B-Dog with knives of his own. Able to find the first kill and the most important, that being the Viper that, well, had that pit, and unfortunately the domain expansion has since subsided. It's LG, a player ahead, but still weighing their options. They want to lean back out towards mid, and that would be a bad call. Unfortunately, the sixth sense, their spider sense was tingling. They back away. Lin, unfortunately, doesn't find anything.
Lin hasn't hit every shot, but he hasn't missed much. And I don't think he would have missed that one if they had walked out. So, like you say, wise to go back. But they're boxed in a little bit here, our Luminosity. A player ahead. And Retro doesn't find anything.
They line up, and it does damage, but unfortunately just not enough to find the kills. As Mata swings on through, Roy the next to have to answer to the Reyna, and things just don't go his way. Randy Savage, however, has been strong here in the defense. Not strong enough to find the next couple of kills, and no way. I mean, this is just not real. Dazzle has been so perfect. Lynn, that was a great shot, but
Not good
the
enough.
Hunter's Fury, what's going on?
What?
Dazzle is insane.
Yeah, the game sense on this guy, out of this world. Like, you know, we talked about what to expect from the Sovas elsewhere in the tournament, right? Retro is going to come onto that in other maps and definitely going to show us something, especially on Haven. But, man, yeah, Dazzle, you are right to highlight this guy because round after round, the Hunter's Fury comes, especially the Hunter's Fury. This guy's the master of the Hunter's Fury, but in general, just making such an impact, showing why Sova is arguably, you know, overall the strongest agent in the game right now, maybe besides Jet. You know, Sova is just ridiculous here, and this is a player who can make full use of him.
A good Sova. Don't just start locking in Sova guys and whipping Hunter's Furies in my lobbies, okay? A good Sova. It's undeniable, right? We even saw in the last matchup with Gangsta, right? And you talk about the Sova players around the Valorant sphere, and they do get lots of love. And somebody who's been popping up in that kill feed and should get all the recognition has been Randy Savage. Nice early kill, picking that one up, trying to make this one the 9-3 curse. And that's the Killjoy out towards B, playing that same style that Tig was doing, trying to just get in the heads of the defense to make them think, where is this attack happening?
Renegades in the pistol round on an early one-man lead, but yeah, where is it happening indeed? You know, they still have the lurker over to the B site, and they're waiting for some impatience, waiting for somebody to get a little antsy. And it's not happening. Luminosity aren't giving him much, and it's 30 seconds left, Tanner. They do need to move. B is going to be the play, and they are facing into one player, but if there's any delay... Okay, so Dazzle gets traded. That's definitely an excellent development. That means that plant is free.
And Renegades tried to resell that they could quite possibly trying to hit A with Retro pushing out that way, but he was answered by Tig. So we basically go even. Well, we do go even across the map. Couple of kills out towards A, the rest out here on this B site, and the Headhunter still available. This thing absolutely rips. Now the last one standing as he's got one round left. Rendezvous available. I'm not too sure if he's got the teleport set up in a position. It only takes a body shot here to find Roy. Then we'll have to swap over to the Classic, and unfortunately that goes wide. It's Tig against the world. It's Tig against the clock, and two. Roy likes to play games with Tiggs, apparently. With the way that he's jumping up when he's got the tour de force. He's playing with them here out towards B-Long, just having a good time, getting time off the clock. Most importantly, stacking up that Hunter's Fury. It's the round to Renegades, and an important one here to try and mount their comeback.
Yeah, definitely a very important pistol round there, and well played as well. You know, they were able to find a very good post plant position. That's the thing, you really are just fine on the post plant, even if you're both in the same spot, which is that B hall area. You are totally welcome to play the post plant just from that spot. You don't. It's not like, you know, B site on Ascent, let's say, where you can't. Not everybody can play in site. You need somebody in garage or out mid. In this case, if you all go, you can do sort of a very one-note defense, and it can still be very, very hard to break. You saw Luminosity, even with the Headhunter, weren't able to really even come close there.
And LG still confident in their fragging capabilities. Opt into a couple weapons here. Those weapons being the Marshals in the hands. Dazzle in the hands of B-Dog. Unfortunately, one going to be ripped away. It's the Duelist coming online here for Renegades and just cutting everybody down. The anti-eco goes just as you would expect. It's up to Moose to try and find some extra damage through the cloud bursts. Viper will play, but I don't think this Snake's going to be able to get too much done here. Meanwhile, hey, Roy, what you doing, man? Roy's on the B site planting the spine.
They are just, the map is their playground right now. Tanner, Renegades can do anything they want here, and right now they are just toying with Moose. Finally gonna get the kill, and 4 players remain alive, so they're gonna do just fine, making use of their pistol round win and getting into a bonus here. The question is, what does Randy Savage do with all that cash?
All Gucci everything.
Yeah, exactly. Treat
Gucci,
yourself.
it's the Valorant Gucci crossover, Gucci op skins, Gucci this, Gucci that. It turns out to just be a Guardian. So starts with a G and a U, I believe.
Oh, and he drops
close.
it. It's a Vandal.
Okay. All right. Well, guys are cursed.
I'm not
Making me look bad.
I don't know enough about fashion to name a V fashion.
Versace.
It was right there, man.
You had it.
First event nerves are getting the better of me. I should have come on. I should have thought of Versace. Unreal. Anyway, we're moving on. Moving on from the fashion talk into the A hit, which is all 5 here. Once again, RNG grouping up.
And the near sight on the Lear slows things down for information that can be garnered by that Owl drone, and it pays huge dividends. That Lear does so much for Mata here in this round. Also picking up 2 kills as well. They're really starting to come back to form now that they have weapons in hand. And I don't want this to be it, but this could be it. Oh my goodness. Okay, Apoth stealing them right back. Unfortunately, that spike, it always seems to escape this attacking side, and it's not in a great spot to be retrieved with 45 HP. You have so much to worry about, and look at them. The vultures just around the corner, waiting to find yet another carcass. Apoth goes up on the ropes, can find one, but can't sneak away. 3K for 3K, so at the end of the day, not too bad of a bonus round. We'll see what LG can muster up after they've just slapped together double digits once more.
Apoth always plays Smoker or Viper, but man, this guy's got good aim. Like, so clean. You saw, not a lot of stabilization having to be done. Great crosshair placement. He's just a really good player, and that's why he top frags very often, even on these controllers, right? Or even on the likes of, Viper. Right now, it's Randy Savage up top there, but you gotta love to see Renegades always fighting back. Luminosity Gaming are very good on Icebox. It's very hard to beat them on this map, clearly, and Renegades don't look quite up to the task yet, but they are still showing shades of brilliance, which could benefit them even more in, maps they might be more comfortable on or that Luminosity might not have as much comfort on.
And I feel like this is our first real trek up towards mid. We saw Randy Savage flirting with the idea, pushing into tube. He's going to be met by one of the trademark abilities, just like we see here. Calls him out, drops the slow, and Tig up on top of the box. This is usually a one and done, but it's an easy position to play because you have that rendezvous to get away, and you have Moose to just draw all of the attention in the world. Owl Drone goes out and tags Moose, but Tig goes undetected, and he rips 3 down. But they steal it right back in Renegades. 3 for 3. And all of Tig's efforts might be for naught as the 2 remaining of LG split the map completely.
And imagine how tilted Tig is going to be if they don't get this round. But Mata has got a great position as well, and they might not be looking here.
One enemy remaining.
And he's inside the lockdown. Nobody's expecting somebody to be this far forward as the lockdown subsides. Lin now has a tough task here. Has the knives.
No.
Lin? Just walks past
enemy remaining.
all of them, picks up the kill on Tamada. Now in the 1v1, needs to do it again, but it's B-Dog. Pops onto the spike for just a moment. Now looking to go aggressive. Around the corner comes Lin, but he's only got 20 HP, and B-Dog rips it away from him. And LG secure the round, so Tig's efforts are for naught.
Wow, what a crazy round. Like, so much unexpected stuff is happening here. And yeah, it was, Lin getting past the, his opposing Jet, not finding him and just taking too long. You gotta imagine if he had found him more quickly, he could have posted up a little quicker and maybe caught the opposing player on the tap. But since it took him so long, that actually made a huge difference. And there's Tig. Ooh, we got some nice anticipation there, Tanner.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tig, with a great little spray down. Got to be disappointing not to win the round off of that.
And not for naught, I think, is not what I said, but what I
pardon
meant.
me. Yeah. I also lost my mind a little there, but it's Tig to make a huge impact regardless in that round.
Yeah, Tig went hard, and that was also a position I highlighted that he could rendezvous out of there, but he dropped out of that level range, so he really had to sacrifice himself. He had to get a whole lot there because he had no way out, and well, best of both worlds. He does sacrifice himself for his squad. He picks up 3 kills now in this round. He's got the tour de force online should he need it. He brought light shields into this round with the Phantom, and that would be pretty unfortunate. Oh, the cloud burst. No way, Lin can't get the knives out, and Tig does it again. Goes good for 3 as B-Dog on the flank. Starts to go a little wild with it, but it doesn't matter. It's a flawless round for LG.
Tig is out of control right now, man. That is nuts from the chamber. 20 kills already, and they are on map point right now. Luminosity Gaming, we talked about them getting their teamwork back together. You don't need teamwork when you got this kind of chamber play. That is so sick. 2 huge 3Ks in a row from Tig on the chamber. An absolute terrifying presence right now for LG on this map. And yeah, Renegades, they might go out of this one with a whimper if they don't take this round here. And there's the tour de force.
It's a scary place to be right now if you're on the opposite end of that chamber. I mean, from weapon to weapon it was like he's been playing gun game. He starts with the Spectre, picks up 3, then goes to the Phantom, picks up 3, and now has the tour de force, which he picked up 3 with earlier in the game, clutching out the round. So very daunting to be looking at from the side of Renegades as they stack up towards the A site once more. Nobody really challenging on the flank just yet. And Randy Savage is there just in case somebody does decide to do so. I think one of the biggest things is trying to figure out where that chamber is playing so you're not walking into that Uber operator that he's got in his hands. Shock darts won't land just yet. Viper's Pit to get onto the site, but Tig still manages to find the frags. He's now looking for more, and he'll find more. Give him the ace, baby. I think he's down 1 shot. This Dazzle will fall. The pit still stands. Apoth able to trade it back, and again, Tig doing so much for his squad, but nobody else able to convert just yet. But the spike is still in hand. It has not been planted on the site, and the pit is still a problem.
And it's, so close. Game of inches right here. Shots coming through into the Viper's Pit.
Apoth gonna fall. B-Dog picking up 2. Gonna be traded right back now in the 1v2, but the spike has to be planted. You're running out of time, and I think Retro might just get run down the backstab around the corner. And it's Moose to trample him down. The Stampede. And what a showing from Luminosity Gaming once more on Icebox. This time, making it that much more definitive. And Moose losing control just a little bit, but he's A-okay. They reel him back in. 13-5 is how LG stamp map 1.
Renegades were just absolutely, answered at the end of that.
Yeah.
It was Tig completely shutting them down. Says 3 rounds to go. They are so dead, as Chamber would say, and they absolutely were. Tig with those ridiculous 2 3Ks in a row, man. That is just sensational.
And then to find a 2K into the next round, to really, again, just kind of put a stamp on it. Say 12-5, there's no way you guys are coming back from this one. We don't want to give up anything else. And Tig does it in style. I don't know. The Chamber. Is that enough Is the firepower enough, do you think, for other teams to start to implement that one into Icebox? Or do you think that's just kind of like a TIG thing for LG?
I mean, clearly TIG really knows his stuff on this agent, and it's definitely going to help them if you've got somebody this comfortable. But I think the logic is there, right? I think with the Viper can do so much in terms of utility. It's almost as if you've got two different, smokers because of how much Viper can cover specifically on Icebox, and that opens it up. You can play anything, you can do all sorts of different stuff. And I think Chamber, with what he brings to the table, specifically the way he changes how you have to play eco rounds and how you have to play against eco rounds, I totally think so. I think that other teams should be watching this and thinking about adding Chamber to their Icebox.
It looks like maybe Icebox isn't as solved now that the new agents are starting to roll in. Now, that's only map 1, Haven, on the docket. But before we get there, I would imagine you guys are on your feet after that matchup. The scoreline didn't really do it justice, but now you guys can sit back, and hopefully you guys are sitting back into one of those Mavix chairs. One of our friends here at Nerd Street, we want you in the chat and gamers around the world to experience Mavix Gaming Chairs, the exclusive chair partner of Nerd Street gamers here, and local hosts, which have been super popular. That's where the lands are, that's where the lands are gone. All Mavix chairs feature the Future 9 functions and critical ergonomics to support gamers everywhere. You guys can get yours today for as little as $24.69 a month. And you can use code NSG55 to save $55. Shop now at mavix.com/Nerd Street Gamers. Now, after that one, 13 to 5, we're going to rest and refit. And when we come back after this short break, we're headed to Haven.